This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our presentation on the best of Holland and Belgium. Today we ask that you should automatically mute it, but if you're not muted, please take off your please take off your phone so you won't be interrupting anyone throughout the presentation. Today, AmaWaterways will present an incredible journey on a boutique river cruise that starts and ends in Amsterdam and visits not only some of the most scenic towns in Europe, but also some of the most well-preserved historical areas. Just a little housekeeping. We ask everyone to stay on mute so that you won't interrupt anyone else. If you have a question, please use the chat box. And we'll be checking that regularly to see the questions that you have, and we'll answer them at the end. So finally, let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about Travel Central. We are been in business since 1988. We are in the New Orleans area. Our only goal is to provide seamless experiences and out-of-this-world vacations to our clients. We are a team of highly trained and knowledgeable experts. We are lucky today to have Brandon from AmaWaterways, who will be leading us on this virtual journey today. So I'm going to turn it over to Brandon now.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. And thank you, Travel Central and Melinda, for having me here to present for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get right started. So something that is kind of exciting to share with everything that happened last year, AmaWaterways is the only US-based river cruise line that was able to sell in Europe last year. We had our ship, the Ama Christina, cruising on the Rhine River, and we were servicing the German market. But the really neat thing about that, while everybody else was figuring out what their safety protocols are going to be once they start back up, we were able to exercise these, and we had absolutely rave reviews. We had guests from Germany, Austria, as well as Switzerland on board, and they had absolutely spectacular experiences. Now, I'll briefly touch on some of the things that we're doing, but for full information, I would encourage you to go to amawaterways.com/travel-updates, or you can contact your travel advisor at Travel Central, and they can direct you where you can find these videos with all of the information, as well as the guests who are on board and the experience they had. So the first thing I'll mention is masks are required by our staff at all times, masks and gloves. For our guests, masks were only required when moving from your stateroom into a public area. Now, Germany and Austria mandated only 100 guests maximum are allowed on board. So this allowed us to set up our ship, our Ama Christina, so that our dining areas, our lounge, and other public areas were able to be socially distant. As a matter of fact, here you see the couches back up to each other. We even put plexiglass there, so when you're sitting in the lounge, you can be close to people, but still have that safety in place. I'm going to jump right back because I'm going to talk about a couple of other things here. We do sanitize your luggage before we bring it to your room for you. This way, after your flight and everything getting on board, we know that it's safe for you. The number one thing that came up was, is your air on board your ships recirculated? And the answer is no. All of the air is brought in from outside, so it's constantly fresh air being brought into the ships. But more importantly than that, every single room on all of our European vessels has its very own individual heat and cooling coil system in place. So every stateroom has its very own system. So fresh air is always being brought in. It is not forced air. It kind of just drops on in. So you have that reassurance that you're always breathing fresh air. Again, for more information, you can go to amawaterways.com/travel-updates, contact Travel Central, they will help you out, or you can go to YouTube and just look up AmaWaterways and the information is there. Now, oftentimes people ask me where AmaWaterways ranks in the river cruise industry. And I really like to use Berlitz's guides as a reference. I've been in the river cruise industry for the last 8 years now with AmaWaterways. One thing I have learned, anytime you open a publication and you see #1 river cruise line, either very clever marketing goes into place or somebody just simply pays to put it there. Berlitz puts secret shoppers on all of the vessels in Europe, and they've put out a new edition about every 2 years. Now they've put out 3 editions, and each time 10 of our ships are the highest rated. In order, the things that come in the top 3 are our food, service, and amenities. So it really shows you consistency in how we operate. And when you hear me say that we are the highest rated river cruise line, we truly are the highest rated river cruise line. Now, one of the things that makes our cruise experience so amazing is the dining experience. One thing that we have learned over the many years of being in business, just over 18 now, when our guests are happy with their food and they have nice full bellies, everything else just turns out to be a really amazing experience. Now, we're members of Le Chien de Rotisserie. They are the most prestigious culinary organization in the world, and membership is by invitation only. And what does that mean to you? Meals on board are exquisite. We have incredible dining. Meals are prepared to order. If you have dietary restrictions, we can accommodate anything. Gluten-free, dairy-free, low sodium. I met a guest of ours who had 33 food allergies, and she said, I only travel with you guys now because not only are my meals safe, but they're also delicious. And it's really hard to get a delicious meal when you have so many challenges with dining. So again, meals on board are spectacular. Now with AmaWaterways, we do serve complimentary, free-flowing soda, beer, and wine with our lunch and dinner. The wines that we serve come from the regions that we're cruising through. So if you love wine, you're going to have some really amazing and unique wines while you're cruising with us. In the mornings for breakfast, we're going to have complimentary sparkling wine or champagne. Along with that, complimentary juices. 24/7, we have complimentary coffee, specialty coffee drinks, tea, bottled water replenished to your room as often as you would like. When you're getting off of the ship to go on your excursions, we're going to give you a bottle of water. When you're getting back on the ship from your excursions, we're going to give you a hot or cold drink, just depending on what the weather is like outside. On top of that, every evening before dinner, we have a complimentary cocktail hour. This is our sip and sell, and this is so great. It is an amazing opportunity to go up into the lounge, get to know the other guests on board, and have a nice drink or two before you go down and have your dinner. Now, river cruising is a very intimate experience. Our ships hold 158 guests, but I've been on many of them and I've never sailed with more than 145 people. It's very easy to get to know everyone on board, especially if you're as social as I am. I typically get to know everybody on board, and these sip and sell hours make for a great opportunity just to do that alone. Now, another thing that is complimentary and something unique to AmaWaterways, we have the fastest Wi-Fi in the industry. We are the only company that has invested in a 4G network on all of our European vessels. Now, it's very expensive to get the 4G network on board. That's why nobody else has done this yet. It's even more expensive to run it annually. We spend more on Wi-Fi for Europe than we do on fuel for our fleet around the world. But we understand how important it is to have fast Wi-Fi. Almost all of our guests these days have smartphones and tablets. When you go on your excursions, you're taking pictures, you're seeing new places. Most oftentimes when you get back on the ship, you want to be able to share those experiences with your friends and family back home through your social media, email, whatever platform you happen to be using. We make it a very simple and seamless process. We even have an cruise app. It's My Ama Cruise app. Before you go on your cruise, we'll send you information so that you can download this. And it's really neat because one, you can upload your pictures through there. It helps keep things balanced and moving fast through our ships. But on top of that, it is your daily cruise activity. It's everything you're going to do will be right there in the palm of your hand. Now with AmaWaterways, we do have more included excursions than anybody else in the industry. This is an area where we set ourselves apart on a high level. Not only do we have more included excursions, we give you a lot of options at every place that we stop. This keeps our groups nice and small. You don't have a lot of people traveling with you, but it also gives you options. Sometimes we have guests who are very well traveled and they've maybe been to these places a few times and they want to do something different when they go. So every port we stop in, you have your included city tour. Your city tour will give you 3 levels of activity: gentle walkers, regular pace walkers, and active walkers. On top of that, you're going to have additional excursions that are just included. And you'll see as I talk about the best of Belgium and the Netherlands here and Holland in just a moment. You'll see that there's a lot of different options at each place that we stop in. So I'll go into that in a little bit more detail when we get into the itinerary itself. Now, something that we are very well known for and has become very popular with us, I did mention our active walker tours. The active walkers don't necessarily move faster, but they take on more challenging tasks. They go on hikes. We also have complimentary guided bike tours, and this itinerary is perfect for cycling. You are in a very flat area. There's a lot of amazing cycling opportunities. Almost every single port we stop in here, you'll be able to cycle. So if you're an avid cyclist, or maybe you used to be and would like to try it out again, you'll get a lot of opportunities on this particular itinerary. Now, something again unique to AmaWaterways, we have a complimentary wellness program. All of our ships throughout Europe have a wellness coach on board. And what they do is they have classes at 7 a.m. and 7:30, and these are designed to work for everybody. We want this to be fun and fit at the same time. So in the morning, they'll do yoga, maybe some core training, some resistant band training, a little bit of light stretching or some Tai Chi. Again, it's designed for everybody. Now, the one class I'll tell you that's always the fullest, it is our champagne yoga. Champagne yoga is a lot of fun. And it's funny because if you do champagne yoga at 7 a.m., prepare to want to nap around 10 o'clock a.m. But it's a lot of fun. Make sure you do it. Now, I do see some questions popping up. We will absolutely be able to get to your questions at the end of our webinar here. So what we're looking at this moment, this is a map of all of the places that AmaWaterways cruises around the world. As you can see, our primary focus is in Europe. But we also cruise the Mekong Delta through Vietnam and Cambodia. We cruise the Chobe River in Africa. And I'm really excited about this. We're going to start sailing the Nile River this September. But as I had mentioned, we are here today to talk about the best of Holland and Belgium. Now, I did this itinerary rather quickly because it was with the owners of the company. We decided to veer from the Rhine River and go up into Rotterdam, but they gave us a nice little tour of this part of Europe. It is absolutely spectacular. You are going to love this itinerary. Now, I've been with AmaWaterways for 8 years, and I will tell you, one of the most common questions I am asked is the water levels. And it's the one thing that we just can't predict because we never know what nature is going to bring. But for this part of Europe, we don't ever have to worry about it because in the Dutch and the Belgian region, everything is controlled by dams. They never deal with high or low water levels. So you're always guaranteed to pretty much hit all of the destinations you're looking to see along these spectacular spectacular itinerary. All right, so this does start off in Amsterdam. Amsterdam is an absolutely amazing city, and we cannot take you here without visiting the city and doing a canal cruise. So the canal cruises have a glass top boat so that you get the wonderful views of the city, and you do get a nice city tour from the canal itself. But on top of that, after your canal tour, you will get off and you'll get to take a nice walking tour and visit Amsterdam. Now, some of the neat things about Amsterdam, the architecture, if you look at the buildings on the left of this image here, you'll see that the buildings are kind of leaning out, I should say, just a little bit. They're designed this way for a reason. If you look at the top of the buildings as well, there's a little arm that sticks out. These buildings, hallways and stairways are so narrow that the people who move in cannot get their furniture up through the stairs, so they hoist it up through their windows. So there's a lot of neat history in Amsterdam. This is, again, an iconic city. There's so much to do. We do not go to the Anne Frank House or the Van Gogh Museum. I would encourage you to speak to your Travel Central travel advisor and make sure you go for a couple of days before or after if those are things that are on your list of things to do while you're there. Now, something else neat about Amsterdam, your day that you embark, we actually spend the night there. The group is for, I believe it's for July, and it's warm, and this city really comes to life at night. You can walk from the ship to the town center within 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how busy it is. Summer is pretty busy there, but it's beautiful. The weather is perfect in the summertime. But you can walk into the town center from the ship very quickly, and there's so much to do and see, especially in the evenings. Now, one thing I've learned over the many years of being in the travel industry, people who love to travel, they're typically foodies. And in Amsterdam, you've got some really neat things that you can try out here. Now, I love these. I shouldn't love them as much as I do, but I absolutely love these stroopwafels. And that's the picture we're looking at. They're like two little mini crisp waffles. They're crispy, but they're also chewy as well, with either cinnamon or honey, or maybe even a little bit of maple in between them. Obviously, these are smothered in honey. If you have a super sweet tooth, this is perfect for you. If you want something a little more savory, they're bitterballen. Now, I have not been able to try this. It is like a stewed beef in a deep fried ball that looks absolutely spectacular, something that they are very well known for in this part of the world. Now, if you head over to the Jordan district, they have what are called brown cafes. These have a very old style to them, the brown woods within them, and they're known for being a very cozy and very typical Dutch style cafe. So if you have certain things that you would like to do while you're there, absolutely, check them out. All right, so after your first night in Amsterdam, you will have a beautiful and scenic cruise into Utrecht. You have to forgive me on the pronunciation of some of these. They're Dutch. But now, this is known as the religious center of the Netherlands. Dates back to the 8th century. On your walking tour here, you'll see an amazing canal system, beautiful Gothic cathedral. You'll also get to experience the whimsical musical instruments within the museum, Spielklok. Now, if you're up for something a little bit different, we do offer an alternative tour here. We go to the largest castle in Holland, Castle De Haar. Now, with the Castle De Haar, here we have it. You're going to feel like you have walked into a fairy tale. They have their beautiful turrets, a moat that goes around the castle, a suspension bridge. And if you look, you can see the grounds are absolutely stunning and the interior is luxurious. So another beautiful and amazing stop along the way. I absolutely love the European castles. Another stop along the way is Ghent. Ghent is actually known for its very large public squares and marketplaces. The main one, it's the Friday market, and this is in the center of this medieval city. Now, from here, you're actually going to have a few choices of excursions available for you. You can either take your city tour and explore Ghent, or maybe you want to go on a cycling tour. That's available as well. Something else that we offer from Ghent is either a full or half-day tour to Bruges. Now, Bruges is one of the best preserved medieval cities in all of Europe. And on the full-day excursion, you're going to visit the Church of Our Lady. You get to tour the city and learn of its history. If you select the half-day tour, you'll spend the afternoon in Ghent with a moated castle, and then you get to take a city tour of Bruges. Now, we always give our guests plenty of free time to explore after your city tour is complete. Now, one thing I will recommend, if Bruges has been high on your list of places to visit, I would strongly encourage you to do the full day tour. One, you get an extended guided tour, but then you will have a lot of extra free time to explore this very beautiful city. And also, if you are a fan of art and of cathedrals, you will definitely want to visit the Church of Our Lady. Now, this dates back to the 13th century. This is home of the very beautiful Carrara marble Madonna and Child sculpture. This was sculpted by Michelangelo. Now, the cathedral itself is essentially recognized as a monument to the wealth and sophistication in this very Catholic city. Now, again, this will be part of the full day tour to Bruges. Now, I always like to touch on little foodie things in different countries. When you're in Belgium, these are the things you must try. The triple fried French fries, We all have heard of Belgian beer, and you cannot go to Belgium without trying their amazing Belgian chocolates. Now, Brussels is the capital of Belgium. The whole city of Brussels is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And they're actually very well known for their cuisine. Here you're going to again find a few options available for touring this city. And these are all included options. We offer a walking tour, exploring sites related to World War II's historic Battle of the Bulge. This was where Germany had its last attack on the Western Front. You'll learn about the history and everything that happened during this time. You'll also get to go out and try some beer that was brewed by the local monks. You'll have plenty of free time to explore this city after your included tour is finished. Now, alternatively, Brussels is another wonderful place to visit on a bike. We offer complimentary guided bike tours. Maybe you don't want to go on a guided bike tour. You just want to grab a bike and stroll into town on your own. We will provide you with the bikes and helmets so that you can do that. Now, there are some additional included tours that are optional to the main city tour or the cycling tour. You can go to the Gosbeek Castle, or maybe you want a culinary experience. We actually do a Belgian chocolate tasting here in Brussels. Antwerp, I have been here. This is a stunning city. There's so much to see and do. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, Antwerp is known as the city of diamonds. It has a huge diamond industry trade. They also have one of the largest ports in the world. It comes in at the top 20, number 2 in Europe. Please don't ask me number 1 because I don't know that. Now, here you're going to have, again, options available. We have a walking tour where you get to see the Steam Castle. And you get to go to the Groot Market. The Groot Market is located in the heart of the city, Old City Quarter. And the Old City Quarter is so neat. It is surrounded by all kinds of amazing restaurants and diners. And from there, we move on and you get to visit the Bravo Fountain. Now, that's what's featured in this image that we're looking at right here. If you're a little bit more active, again, we do have a cycling tour available here in Antwerp. Now, what's really neat about Antwerp, we're here all day and into the evening. So you've got a set of tours that are all included after breakfast. After lunch, we have another set of tours that are also included. So later in the day, you can go out and go tasting Belgian chocolates and waffles. We also have a cycling tour. Maybe you love Belgian beer or you just love beer in general. We do a beer tasting here as well. So moving out of Belgium into Holland, Dordrecht is the oldest city in Holland. And it was actually almost destroyed by a flood in the 15th century. So here you're going to take a walking tour, learn about the city's history, and also going to learn how the city's wetlands were created by this flood. Now, alternatively, and we do see that a lot of people like the alternative option here, we go to Rotterdam. Rotterdam is known as the gateway to Europe. Back in 1620, this is where the Pilgrim Fathers actually departed on their journey. They stopped over into Southampton, and many of them ended up boarding the Mayflower, heading on to Plymouth Rock, and obviously we know our history from there. So out of Rotterdam, again, you're going to have options available. Just so you know, the average 7-night cruise with AmaWaterways has at least 20 included excursions. Now, out of Rotterdam, you can take your walking tour. We do a really neat cycling tours as well here. The cycling tour is studying and learning about the architecture of Rotterdam. During World War II, the city center was pretty much destroyed. So surrounding the city, you have the older architecture that's similar to what you would see in Amsterdam and throughout the Netherlands. In the city center, it is a much more newer and modern design. So again, a very unique story and history here. Now, there is an alternative option to go to a little bit smaller town, Gornichem. It's a very picturesque and beautiful place to visit along the way. So again, it's just another alternative excursion that you can take while you're in this beautiful city. Now, we can't take you this far without visiting the Kinderdijk windmills. This is another UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's just absolutely spectacular. This is a very charming little village, and it's known for having the country's largest concentration of windmills. Some of these actually date back to the 18th century. This is another location you can take a cycling tour through. If you're a photographer, amateur, professional, maybe even a terrible photographer, you just love to take pictures, this is a great place to have your camera ready. You're going to have the opportunity to capture some spectacular images from this beautiful destination. After your 7 nights on board with us, you will disembark in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. Now, again, I would recommend, if the 7-night cruise, there are a couple things like the Van Gogh Museum, and there's some other things we don't include. Talk to your Travel Central travel advisor and make sure to book some 2 nights pre or post so that you can explore these places along the way. Now, I do have some promotions in place. Something that I want to bring to your attention. I know that we have a lot of solo travelers that like to travel with us. Right now, we have a 25% single supplement for balcony staterooms. This expires on February 28th. So if you're a solo traveler and you would like to take this journey with us, definitely call your travel advisor so that they can get you booked before this expires. And as last year was a very challenging year, we are all looking forward to when we can travel again, where the rivers flow, with the rivers and wine flow, we will continue to go. We absolutely look forward to having you on board with us and continuing to travel in 2021. And to thank you for taking the time to join me and listen to me speak this evening, I have a promotion in place. It's only for the people who are in attendance. It's a 100 per person discount. This is good until February 2nd. So you have 2 weeks to make a booking, 3 weeks to actually make deposit. And again, Travel Central, this is only good for Travel Central. Again, I want to thank you for my time. I do know that Melinda had a little more that she wanted to say before you take off this evening. So Melinda, I will turn it back to you.
You can go ahead and take this one off because that's a Quebec group that we're doing. We do have a group from New Orleans going on May 10th through May 22nd, and we welcome you to join us. We all know that 2020 has been a very challenging year. 2021 is almost as challenging. So don't forget to work with a travel advisor. We are staying on top of everything that's going on in the travel industry, from new enhancements and sales to destinations and to hotels. And then just so you know, we do host these virtual travel experiences every Tuesday. I think there's another slide with the upcoming ones. We do try to be as informative about the destinations as possible, but when we work with suppliers, they always like to share what they offer as well. And river cruising is the hottest thing going in the industry. As Brandon said, it's only about 125 to 150 people per river cruise. The ones upcoming, we are going to be talking about Japan, US river cruises, Finland, Norway, and Iceland, and Antarctica, and we welcome you to all of those. So thank you for coming today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'll check the chat box one more time that you can do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brandon.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful evening.